Alright guys, this is going to be a tutorial on how to play pets at tag. And I'm going to go over quite a few things. So we're going to jump into the original form of pets so that everybody understands how the game is actually supposed to be played. Back almost 20 years ago, pets was formed by tag along with Mafia Wars and Cafe. They had those two games, the only two, and something else. I forgot what it was. They had three games on the page, but Pets was the popular game, and Mafia Wars were as well. But we're gonna jump into Pets, and I'm gonna explain how Pets, the original form of Pets, is actually supposed to be played. It's very simple. It's very easy, and there's only one rule to this game. You buy someone buys something from you. Okay? So here it is, pretty simple. If I buy Laura, okay, or Laura buys me, I'm obligated by the rule to buy something from her. Or if she buys me, I'm obligated to buy something from her. Okay? Doesn't matter how big the pet is or whatever. I'm going to give you an example. Okay? So I got bought from Laura. Laura bought me. So we're going to go over here to Laura's page, and then we're going to buy a pet from her. And she bought me, and I bought her. Okay? So, no, she didn't buy me. She bought me, but I ain't buying her. Hell, damn that. So I'm going to come down here and buy a pet from her. So we come down here. Doesn't matter how big the pet is or how small the pet, you always buy a pet from that person. So I'm going to come and I'm going to buy her. I told her I was going to flip her, so I'm using her as an example because I'm flipping her up. And I always flip my pets. That's one of the rules. My rule, if I know that pet player is going to play well, then I will flip her. Okay? So, the idea of the game is not to end the day without having any pets. Okay? So, you always want to find a pet that's active and that is playing the game. Okay? So, I bought a pet from her. Okay? Now, she, by rule, since I bought her, she is now obligated to buy a pet from me. Okay? So I bought her, then she has to buy a pet from me. Okay? Whoever she buys the pet from, when she buy a pet from me, let's go to her page. Say, for example, she bought that pet from me. Okay, this pet right here. Then that pet is obligated to buy a pet from her. Okay, so this pet, we'll stick on this pet. This pet, since he bought a pet from her, here's the situation. She has no pets. He has no pets. Okay, because all the pets are gone. So he's stuck with her without a pet to buy, which is fine. If you can find a pet that doesn't have any pets on it, then you don't have to buy a pet because it's in fact all his pets are gone. So you can't buy any pets. So the idea is to always make a profit off the pet that you was sold to. You see what I'm saying? Because whoever this pet, she bought him, he's obligated to buy a pet from her, but there is no pets on there. So that's where the you get stuck without making any money. You always want to make some money by buying a pet, and that pet buys a pet from you. Doesn't matter how big or how small that pet is. But the key and the number one key in this game is whoever you buy a pet from, you need to check what they got so that when they buy a pet, you buy them, they can buy a pet from you, and that they're obligated by rule to buy a pet from you. But the idea is to make sure you get rid of the pet you don't need. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have a big dead pet and you buy a pet, that pet is obligated to buy a pet from you, which could be a big dead pet. And there is the strategy of the game. You watch and you check and you make sure that whoever is there that you buy, they have the cash to take that pet away from you. But you always find the person that has the less pets and the active less pets possible. So that is the key of the game. You always want to have someone you want to buy to get rid of a pet. Okay? So here's the thing. You always buy 5 pets so that those 5 pets can take away any 5 pets that you have. Okay? It's always the person if that person buys that pet, then that person needs to hurry up and buy a pet from them before they get stuck with not buying a pet. You see what I'm saying? Because of the same fact, the idea is whoever that person buys a pet, they have to buy a pet from you, and then that person has to buy a pet from that person that they just got bought from. So to always have a flow of cash going in and out, in and out. You always want to buy the lesser pet while they get stuck buying the larger pet from you. See what I'm saying? So they get stuck getting killed with they cash or get killed. That's one of the problems. That is the most important part of the game. So that's the reason why you never ask to be bought, because you will always be bought somehow within the game. That's how the game is actually played. You always find someone to buy, and then they turn around and buy a pet from you, which will sooner or later create a cycle in the game. So the game is always constantly flowing. It's always flowing. And we have thousands of people are playing this game, but they're not playing the game correctly. That's the original way the game is supposed to play. Everybody is being bought by everybody at some certain point. Okay? So, let's go back to home. Now, let's go over the no buy rule. And I'm going to explain this is because nobody actually knows what the no buy rule is, because they never heard of why it was created and who created it. Well, who created it is this person right here, which is me. 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago, back in 2009, when I first started playing pets with me, Dr. G, and Jerry the Bear. We were small pet players in the game. So basically what the pet no buy rule is. The no buy rule is you put the no buy rule on your page so that you can build cash, not assets. It has nothing to do with assets. It's all about your cash. Okay? Because back then, assets wasn't part of the game. It was all about cash over value. And it's still to this day. The ideal of the game is to be cash over value. Okay? So, back to the story. I introduced it to my friend Dr. G, which I also introduced it to Jerry the Bear. We all talked on the phone, and what we did was say, hey, we'll build some profiles like everybody else does. We will build some profiles and we'll dump cash in them, and then we will put no buy on them. In other words, what we was doing, we was putting no buy on on pets that was going to be put in the pet run. Okay, the idea of that was to build cash for the pet run, but then whoever got stuck with that pet, they got stuck with pet because it was value over cash then. But the original way the no buy rule was supposed to be was your profile, which is this profile, is cash over value. It has nothing to do with assets. Let's eliminate the assets. It's cash over value. The rule is this no buy is not supposed to be on there because it's 75% to anything between 50 to 75% cash over value. Okay, so by rule, the idea of this was to be bought in a flip. So what we did is we made our profiles a no buy profile. We would create a dump profile and stick the profile in a dump, and we would flip pets until we got the pet cash over value. We also bought gold and flipped it in there, and we made the pet cash over value. By putting it in the dump and putting it in a no buy, no one was allowed to buy that pet until we got it 75% or higher. And then once it was over that amount, the no buy was supposed to be taken off. So that the idea was big pet players would come in and buy the pet in a pet run or a flip, but mostly in a pet run. So that's the reason why the no buy was brought, to get your cash over value. Then about 6 years ago, Tag decided to put all the profiles tag over cash over value. So they will make all the pets cash over value, so that when that pet profile became active, it will automatically go into a pet run. Okay, that was the idea. So you got a lot of pets on here that's cash over value, but nobody's playing them because flipping them out is because they're dead pets. I mean, there's thousands of pets on here with cash over value, but nobody is putting them in the run. So there you have it. Now you have a game that has a lot of pets with cash over value. Nobody's flipping the cash out of them, except a handful of them that knows how to flip, that flips the cash out of the pet and then put it in a dump, so that their main page, for example, this is cash over value. And then once the cat pay is up to 50 to, I say 50, but a lot of people are going to 75% or more. They're obligated by the pet rule to take the damn no buy off. Okay, that's the rule, the no buy rule. That's the no buy rule I created when I did this 10 years ago, is to take the no buy off and make sure that you're 50 to 75% cash over value. It had nothing to do with assets whatsoever, because nobody cared about your pet, your pets. All they cared about making sure this was over this, so that this person or any other person will buy this page. And that's how the pet no buy rule is supposed to work. So that's that. That is how the no buy is supposed to be. Now, I got a message. Lord knows who it's from. So, as you can see, Laura, my other page, is let's see. She's her assets. She's way cash assets over value, but it has nothing to do with assets over value. It's always the cash over the value, because the assets, which are these down here, will always be bought. They will be bought, which is actually your cash on hand. But since they're not moving because of the old rule, the new way the game is played, I was supposed to buy a pet from her. But I did a while ago. I bought a pet from her by the rule, which you all saw. And that is the original rule. You always buy, whoever buys you, you buy a pet from that person. So I bought a pet from her. Okay. That person, that pet that I bought from her has to buy a pet from me. And that pet that was brought from me has to buy a pet from her. And the cycle begins. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for a lot of people on how the game is originally supposed to be played. So y'all take care. I will see you in the game. And for a lot of you that has the no buy rule, the no buy on your page, please take it down, because I'm going to take mine down sooner or later. But y'all take it down if you don't know what it's all about. Okay? And let's get back to playing the game the original way, which it's supposed to be. All right. Until then, y'all take care. Be safe. If all the pet players, please take this and copy it and put it on your page. Okay. Until then, y'all take care. God bless, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.